It's 5:30 on Tuesday, and I just got home from work. It's already dark. The sun's already down, but the lighting is a lot better than usual because it snowed. I don't know how good my light is gonna do me here, but better than usual. So, this is the garden under its first snow of the year. This is a really substantial snow for a first snow, and yet it's also not enough to cross-country ski. I'll show you why. On somebody that has grass, you gotta wait for that. So this is my pot and pot nursery. Underneath a bunch of snow, full rows for the first time. You can see the divots where some of the pots are. Yeah, that's exciting. Gonna go ahead and walk up in. It's always prettiest before you walk on it. I'm just saying. I think I might have a bonfire even though. Yeah, that's... the couple that I don't have any pots in at all have big divots because the snow fell in. That makes sense. And yeah, it's solidly dark out at this point, but we have snow, so I'm happy about it. Snow is some of my favorite stuff. I'm going to see if I can do this again with not marring up the snow too bad, because I love it. It's pretty. Alright, here we have, this is my seed starter. It has screens over top, as you remember, and some weights on it. So those seeds are going to be exposed to cold temperatures all winter inside there, and then when the spring warms them up, they have the ability to sprout. This is specifically for seeds that need cold stratification, which is a period of cold, damp exposure over a certain number of months or days before a warming up. And otherwise they won't sprout at all. That's a pretty common thing to have in seeds, especially for plants that are native to areas that have winters like this. Some of these will have frozen through the roots. This is my seed starting area, and it's partly buried in snow. That's okay though. I think it'll make them hardier if it hasn't killed them, so there. And, oh yeah, this is beautiful. All the tires. We'll go right up here. Now you can see this area, I think that's wind that has exposed this. And it's my tire area. There's a couple of really tender plants I need to bring in. I'm glad I came out and looked around. That is a rosemary in the front underneath the pile of snow. And then on the porch there is additionally a white sage. So the white sage is native to like Arizona area, and rosemary is native to like Mediterranean. And tonight it is going to go to 20 degrees. And then by Friday it's going to be in the 50s again. Yesterday it was in the 50s. We had a massive windstorm. So we're going to have like a day or two of freezing. Right here the snow is pretty deep. There's my footprints. And that's because the wind's piling it up. Oh, they mowed relatively recently. I don't know if I'll be able to show you why I can't ski as an actual visible example, but grass is often about this tall and the snow is only about that deep. So, and any rocks and stuff would scratch up the skis, and the grass sticks through, so you're not really gliding anyway. My focal distance is too short to show you on the neighbor's yard, and the likelihood is by the time I'm out tomorrow, it'll probably be melted again, because that's how Pittsburgh works these days. The temperate forest area, which is the northeastern area of the U.S., is very much, very much a freeze-thaw cycle these days. This is a really early snow of this depth. There, it's like an inch. You need about 4 for cross-country skiing. So, the freeze-thaw cycle is... Oh, see, it's snowing again. That's good. I love it. The freeze-thaw cycle is because we have wavering jet stream because of climate change. So it brings Canada down to visit, and then it yanks North Carolina up to visit. Sometimes we pull our fronts all the way from Alaska, but it'll just whiplash because as that current changes due to climate change, then it's just changing the front that rolls in or rolls out. So this is so pretty. I love it. This is the garden under snow. This is the asparagus. I can still do things like harvest onions and any root crops. The rutabaga should do just fine back in there. I hope it's supposed to. Ooh, I caught that. Oh, those bricks are killing me back in here. I gotta change that. This is the hardy kiwi, and it's lost all its leaves, but it's perfectly fine. It'll bounce back next year like it does every year. Some of the hedges still have leaves on them, and those may likely still be green when it thaws again. The fern is mainly scorched. That's this right here. And there's still a few leaves on the Saskatoon too that are green. Let's pull that down because it's silly to try and think you could see it. And those will probably still be green. They're only on the tops of the plant, just at the top. Those will probably still be green whenever it thaws again. We usually don't get more than 5 days of any given temperature. There's no stable temperature in Pittsburgh anymore. It's just up and down and up and down. I had meant to trim these and get the seeds on the cliff instead of in my garden. Still would like to, but I'm not going to do it out in this much cold. The plum, this is an early blue. Bears in June once it finally gets around to putting on fruit. That'll be when it's supposed to be ripe. It's been holding its leaves green really late, and it greens up really early, so that is a really nice privacy plant for cold weather areas. This is my rue, Rutagraviolens. It's actually an evergreen. Its extremities die back, but... And these are my walking onions now. Those just snap right off. Show that again because they're frozen. But if you leave them alone, they're fine and they'll come back green as soon as it thaws. They're also evergreens. So, and you can see that the sump pump hasn't been running, because if it was, that would not be white in my trench there. It would be a different color than white. And I think that my, yeah, this pile is putting off some heat because it's melting the snow in certain areas. So this is my wood chip pile. This is my little gnome home. The fluffage is pretty green too, whereas the rhubarb I didn't get, which are just those lumps in the snow there, that'll be done for. And that's okay. Sometimes you miss stuff. The Echinacea is, that's cute. It's got like snow in its seed heads. That's adorable. And same thing with the sunchoke. We won't see green off of the sunchoke again until June next year. They don't even peek above the ground until then. I piled my berry plants that are in pots in with wood chips around them to help reduce the freeze risk around the root balls. You can see the snowplow came up to pull in forward ways and then backed out, salted. The snow shovel's still right there. This is down thin enough that I don't think it's still putting out a whole lot of heat. Also, that wood chip pile in the back is, I wonder if I can get that to focus. There we go. Oh, that's nice. The wood chip pile in the back also happens to have some amount of unfinished compost in the middle, too. It's probably finished by now. Looking forward to opening that up. We'll go back into the yard. I don't want to brave the cliff today. Stairs or no. It's after dark. That is zebra grass. I do need to dig it up when I can. I think this is just, this might be because this is really deep and melting with heat, or it might be that it's windswept, I can't tell. And then along the front, we are back where we started at with the main nursery area, and it's much darker, and the snow's still coming down. Right now it's pretty dang cold, but I still think I'm going to bring my paper pile out and start a fire after I eat, because that just sounds like fun. See if we can see anything of the view from here, because that cloud is catching some pinkish tones. The sun's the whole way down, but there's still like some residual blue color that I don't think we'll pick up on the video, because this camera doesn't have very good night exposure. Watch my breath. See that? Yeah, right now it's definitely probably about 25, maybe 30 degrees. Probably 25. It feels cold. I've got a down coat with my trench coat over it. The hood's up. I got gloves to put in this coat. Because with the temperature doing what it's doing, I'm two-layering my coats so that I can stuff the puffy in my backpack on the way home if it's too hot to wear it on the way home. And then just have the long raincoat, trench coat thing. So, yeah, that's the snow. And I hope the seeds I planted will at least sprout some of them. I want to bring this pumpkin my uncle gave me in and let it thaw, because I think I want to cook it, make some food. And that is the garden under snow at night. So I hope that was enjoyable. Oh, by the way, this is my compost pile. I didn't put the lid back on. And there were soldier flies in there, and I say were because they say that anything below 25 degrees kills even the eggs. So that was something I learned, and we'll have to reintroduce some worms next year to get this back to more of a vermicompost system, because I don't know if the soldier flies will reintroduce themselves. So I hope you're having a good mid-November, and I hope your weather is something that you love. I love snow. I go, snow, and I wiggle. I wiggle my bum when I see snow, and I sing. I sing about it. Yay, snow! So I'm very happy. Happy Late fall, 'cause this ain't winter. Okay, bye.